My name is Mike Alvidrez. I am the Executive Director of the Skid Row Housing Trust in Los Angeles. We have been serving homeless folks in Skid Row area, downtown Los Angeles, since 1989. We have 24 buildings with approximately 1,600 residents, and we have become, since 2003, a housing first organization, which means that we will place folks in housing who have disabling conditions, irrespective of whether they have their mental illness or an addiction under control. So it means that people who have been out on the street for a great many years, sometimes 15, 20, 30 years or more, which happens actually quite frequently in Los Angeles, we will take them into housing in the belief that they have a better opportunity to receive services for their disabilities more effectively if they're in housing, rather than trying to address those disabling conditions while they're living on the streets or in shelters or under a freeway or a bridge. And what we found is that we can be quite effective in keeping people housed. I think the other thing that we've done is to really think very hard about how to design our buildings so that the services that people need are immediately accessible to them on site. And in fact, we've been relatively successful in creating some pretty innovative designs in our buildings, sort of enhancing the built environment, at the same time providing that stable living environment for people who, once they get those services, very frequently become participating members of the community. So we expect to continue to do this work, even though the recession has caused our capital sources to dry up almost by half. But we're going to figure out a way to make it work. And one of the ways that we're doing that is with modular prefabricated housing. We have a building of 102 units, all modular prefabricated housing, which is cheaper to build and faster to build. And so we're very excited about the opportunity to continue to build on top of the Star Apartments, which you can't see, but is this building down here. And we'll be happy to share photos and images with you about the Star Apartments.
Okay. And what would you think would be the core of the work you're doing that's improving the quality of life of the...
Yes, we actually believe that the work that we're doing is improving life in the city, whether it's for the homeless person who now has a home and the opportunity to get services and to help stabilize their lives, whether it's for the surrounding community that sees less homeless folks on the street, whether it's for commercial interests whose businesses aren't being challenged by a lot of street homelessness, and by actually the taxpayer who, on the basis of data, homeless folks use a lot of crisis services because they go frequently to the emergency room or to the hospital, which is very expensive. The costs for some people are in the $80,000 range per year per person for folks who have been out on the street with multiple disabilities like asthma or high blood pressure or diabetes. And we can do that far, far, far less when people are in housing and receive those services that they would otherwise not have, and end up back in the hospital and the emergency room over and over and over. So permanent supportive housing with on-site support services is one of the answers that we found to be much more effective, good for the formerly homeless person, good for the community, good for business, good for the taxpayer.